Chapter 53. Now, after all of the above, a person who contemplates it will understand the general point of the entire hitbonenut, contemplation, from the simple essential desire that arose in the actual essential self of the infinite light because of the aspect of the essential desire for kindness which arose in his simple will, as discussed in chapter 10, etc., all the way to the aspect of the most final desire, which is the aspect of the desire to bring the world of Asiyah, actuality, into being, both generally and specifically, and which is called Keter and Atik Yomin of Asiyah, regarding which it states, everything that Hashem desired he did, Asa. For certainly just as it arose in his desire to have a desire and will to emanate Atzilut, so likewise the desire and will to create Bria, and the desire and will to form Yetzirah, and the desire and will to do Asiyah, were all included in the essence of his simple will in his essential self. For example, this is just as when it arises in a person's essential desire to have a desire for some specific matter, although this desire immediately divides into multiple desires from level to level until the final most desire, which is the desire for the actual final action, nonetheless it all arose instantaneously within his essential will, etc., without divisions or levels whatsoever. This was explained in chapter 7, that there is no division of levels in the aspect of the Keter of the worlds of Atzilut, Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiyah, even though in the chaining down, the aspect of the Malchut of the upper level becomes the Keter of the lower level, etc. Likewise, relative to the essence of his simple will in the aspect of the essential self of the infinite light, there is no differentiation of levels between the desire and will to emanate Atzilut and the desire and will to do Asiyah. This is the meaning of I am first in the desire of Malchut of Ein Sof, which is the source for the desire to emanate Atzilut, and I am last in the most final desire of Malchut of Asiyah to bring into being the most lowly and final world, which are the Ophanim angels and the Mazalot, which are the root for the existence of the spirituality of the four elements of fire, air, water, and earth, and the spirituality of the physical levels of inanimate plant life and animals. This is also stated at the end of Etz Chaim, that everything is included in the verse, everything that Hashem desired in his essential self he did, which includes the entire chaining down of the Kav, line, until the end of the world of Asiyah. That is, he included them all. Relative to him, it all is considered to be an action, Asiyah, because the root of Atzilut and the root of Asiyah are literally equal relative to his essential self, etc. This then is the meaning of the continuation of the verse, everything that Hashem desired he did in the heavens, referring to the general encompassing light, Sovev, of the upper purity, Tihira Ila'ah, and in the earth, referring to the aspect of how he fills all worlds, Mimale Kol Almin, in the lower purity, Tihira Tata, etc. It all is equally one. This is all as known that the heel of Adam Kadmon concludes at the end of Asiyah, and his head is in the general thought at the beginning of the Kav, as it says about Adam Harishon, the first man, that prior to sinning his feet were in Asiyah and his head was in Bria, but he is nevertheless called Adam of Bria, that is, a created something from nothing, etc. This is also the meaning of every stature shall bow before you, etc., as discussed elsewhere. This is the primary intention of the entire contemplation of every detail within the chaining down of the Kav, line, from before the first Tzimtzum restraint until the end of the world of Asiyah. That is, it is to unite everything with the simple unity which is in the aspect of the essential self of the infinite light, until one ingrains within his soul the order of the godly supervision of every detail, even to the very last detail. That is, even in the world of the planetary cycles and constellations, Mazalot, which only come from the 9 external vessels of Malchut of Asiyah, one must recognize that it literally is only according to his simple will within the essential self of the infinite light. This is as we say in our prayers, he, specifically, orders the stars in their watches within the firmament according to his will. That is literally according to his simple will in his essential self for the aforementioned reason. The explanation of in their watches refers even to the aspect of the chambers of the husks of Klipat Noga of Asiyah, because the constellations, mazalot, which are fixed in the heavens, are in the aspect of Noga of Asiyah. This is because the 10 Sefirot of Asiyah, in its aspect of lights, vessels and chambers, etc., are all in an aspect of total sublimation and negation of the something to the nothing, Bitul Hayesh, from which they are brought into being, as known regarding the chamber of the Holy of Holies in Asiyah, where there is the union of Zer Anpin and Nukva of Asiyah, such as in the Holy Temple below, etc. Even the souls and angels of Asiyah are in a state of total sublimation and negation, as it states, the hosts of the heavens bow to you, referring to the Ophanim and Chayot angels of Asiyah. Even the substance and vessels of the Ophanim are in an aspect of absolute sublimation and negation, as is understood from the chariot prophecy of Ezekiel regarding the Chayot and Ophanim angels of Yetzirah. Similarly, this is the case regarding the chariot of black and red horses of Zechariah's prophecy, which refers to the times of exile in which Malchut is vested within the 70 ministering angels of Noga of Asiyah. They too are in a state of total sublimation and negation, like a horse to its rider, as it states, "Behold, Hashem rides on a swift cloud," etc. And as explained in the Zohar, that they are like a cloud upon which he rides, etc. This is similar to the verse, "Can an axe glory over the one who chops with it?" etc. Even though there are many different levels in them, with numerous chainings down, even those who receive through a multitude of screens in an aspect of the back of Elokim, from the 48 Mem Chet last combinations of Elokim, which is called the land of the children of Cham, Chet Mem, which is the reverse of Mem Chet, in a way of ultimate concealment and simtsum restraint with various different types of screens and separations, so much so that it is called a garment of sackcloth and skin, as in the verse, "I will enclothe the heavens with darkness, and I will put sackcloth as their covering," etc., as is known, and as stated, he who separates, etc. Nonetheless it states, "God reigns over the nations," etc., and "Who will not fear you, O God of the nations," etc., for his kingdom rules over everything. The proof of this is from Bilam, who was the evil aspect of Noga, Rada Noga, the aspect of Da'at of the external husks, Klipot, as it states, he knows the knowledge of the Most High, Yodea Da'at Elyon, etc. However, even he said, "I cannot transgress the word of Hashem, God, to do even the smallest thing," etc. Even his donkey, which was the aspect of Nukva of Zer Anpin of Klippa, the female of Zer Anpin of the external husks, which is even more severe, for as will be explained regarding the opposite side, the aspect of Nukva is the most severe of them all, etc. However, even regarding the donkey it states, "And his donkey turned away from the angel," etc. And even Bilam said, "If it displeases you, I shall return," etc. Now, although there are those Klipot husks that are in an aspect of total somethingness and separation, so much so that they say, "My power and the strength of my hand brought me all this affluence," etc., such as the ministering angel of Egypt who said, "My river is mine, and I have made myself," etc., and as the sages of blessed memory have stated, they know their master and rebel against him intentionally. These are from the aspect of the 3 totally impure husks, Klipot, and they too are submissive at times when Hashem visits punishment upon them. This is as explained in various prophecies of the prophets regarding some of the ministering angels of the idolatrous nations of the world, etc. However, in the aspect of Noga, even the aspect of Noga of Asiyah, which is mostly evil with a minority of good, they are in a state of constant sublimation and negation, such as the planets and constellations, which are influenced by the 70 ministering angels, about whom it also states, "The hosts of the heavens bow to you, and they sing his praise every day," etc. As known, this is in accordance with the reason for the constant orbit of the physical planets and constellations, that this is due only to their forms and souls being in a constant state of praising and spiritual bowing to Hashem, etc., as explained elsewhere. This will suffice for the understanding.